Yo soy 13.
Hola gente de Yo Soy 13, soy Camilo Guzmán, presentador y director del Cuaderno del Canal 13. Les voy a estar contando 5 cambios que ha tenido el programa para este nuevo año. Antes de arrancar a contarles toda esta historia, quiero revelarles el rollo de la radio en Colombia. Así que bienvenidos a Yo Soy 13.
La radio es un vehículo de la civilización para ser usado por gentes civilizadas.
Esencialmente la historia de la radio arranca es con unos radioaficionados, unos personajes que empezaron a oír que entonces en Europa estaban haciendo unas transmisiones, construyendo unos equipos, que los equipos se podían hacer en casa. Entonces estos señores empiezan a hacerlos, entonces cogen unas bobinas y las enrollan y así crean pequeños transmisores. Como el fenómeno de la radio en Colombia arrancó esencialmente con las clases más pudientes, y las clases más pudientes compraban el radio porque sabían lo que iban a encontrar en el radio. Entonces sabían que si sintonizaban onda larga, entonces iban a coger unas señales que llegaban desde Europa, o que llegaban desde los Estados Unidos, o que llegaban desde Cuba, o que si sintonizaban entonces la onda media, podían de pronto coger las emisoras que estaban en Bogotá o que estaban en Cundinamarca. Entonces no existía la posibilidad de pronto de sorprenderse o de asustarse. Importaron una tecnología, importaron algo que sencillamente pues sí tenía un componente mágico, porque era una caja de donde salían unos sonidos y unas voces y una música. Estaba el componente mágico, sí, pero no el componente del miedo, no había nada que asustar. El primer transmisor de radio que se hizo en Colombia estaba en Barranquilla, y aquí estamos hablando de mediados de la década del 20, no, en realidad finales de 1928. El señor Elías Pelet en Barranquilla hizo la primera emisora, de la cual por supuesto no se guarda, no se mantiene ninguna grabación, y era en principio La Voz de Barranquilla. En 1930 ya vendría el primer esfuerzo, digamos, serio y gubernamental de hacer una emisora. Fue la HJN, que se convierte, digamos, en la precursora de la radio nacional.
Juanito González, suspenso. Pepito Pérez, suspenso. Aniceto Trinquete, suspenso. José Romero, sobresaliente.
Y era en ese momento la idea de poder tener un medio para comunicar a Colombia lo que estaba pasando en la guerra con el Perú. No había una escuela de eso. Ellos estaban inventando prácticamente la radio. La radio es el más mágico de los medios de comunicación.
And she talks. $10 was.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Edward Andres Ortega. I live in here in London, England, 9 years ago. I'm here today for help you in the interview for Mr. Jonathan Aicardo. Nothing. I'm here. Thank you very much for the invitation. Start now, okay? Thank you very much for everybody.
What do you like about the radio?
everything, I like the radio. I like the news, the culture, the music, entertainment, everything. I like the radio. Basically, for me, the radio is very important because it's for me it's the best and the first medical communication for in the world. Okay, simple. I like everything the radio, everything.
Why do you choose radio as a profession?
Okay. Why? Because when when you me okay, when you are on here a children, the boy, I don't know. Always I see my mom, my grandmother, my grandfather, always in my house listen radio. Every year's meet I go to up. Every year I like it. If from I don't know from before from the 1985 years I like the radio and I start. It's simple, Jonathan. I like the radio. I don't know why, especially. I talk to her, or I talk to him. Sorry, but the radio for me, I like it.
What kind of station do you like?
In Colombia, I like everything. In London, I like Magic, Hard London, Kiss FM, Capital is the best radio. I like Love 18, the radio station in Manchester. I like it. Yeah, because basically I like the retro music, 80 music, 90 music, the classics music, romantic music. I like it especially, but in the weekends I like Latin music, of course, for my blood, for my culture, for my rights, everything I like in the weekend, the Latin radio. But in general, I like in London Magic in Colombia, W Radio, RCM Radio, and Caracol Radio.
What do you think of the radio before and now?
Okay, what you think? Okay, I think because the radio analog before is very hard, very good as well. Why? Because the radio before no have a digital, no have computer, nothing. Everything is for the fingers, for the hands. That's it. Now the radio is a very advanced computer, digital. It's amazing because I write the technology and the computer and the music. Just now the radio is just computer and the mixer. That's it. The radio now in the world is the mixer and computer. Before the radio, the big mixer, just the LP music, CD, cassettes. That's it. Before is very hard. I think it's very hard. But now it's very easy. Just the computer. The computer is the best DJ. You know. Yes. Big difference. Total now it's big, very big difference. Okay.
Okay. Do you think that online radio station in the future will be more listened to that conventional station?
Yes, Jonathan. And now, in the future, in the future, I think so. The radio, the virtual radio future, I took it more strong. Yeah, because now it started slowly. In the Europe, the online radio is very strong. In Latin America, at the moment, no, because in Latin America, the strong radio is in the frequency, AM and FM. But in Europe, no. In the Europe, for example, in London, is a small radio, the frequency. All the radio is online. But in the Euro, the first tech store is in the Euro, and after, I think so is in Latin America. I think so. But of course, Mr. Jonathan, especially I don't know the next year, in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I don't know. But in the future, the radio online is very, 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 very strong. It's the best quality, the best stream, the best broadcasting, the best sound, the best everything.
Okay. You, Mr. Edward.
Thank you very much, and you for invitation, Mr. Jonathan. Thank you for your colleague, for your friends in your classroom. Of course, at the moment, say hello for your teacher, for your friends. Thank you very much for invitation. I'm waiting. Maybe I like it. This is interview. I see you the next time. Okay. Thank you very much again. Have a nice day. Again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Okay. I see you. I talk the next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.